Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Steve and Schnee back to the channel. We are going to take a look at the albums of the Fixx. We're doing an album ranking, so stay tuned. Let us know what you think in the comments. Here we go.
Grant is changing the world one track at a time on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Steve and Schnee to the channel. Steven's back, and we are going to rank the albums from the new wave band, the Fixx. So this will be good. Who was talking the Fixx, Steve? Well, you probably have on your channel.
I always talk the Fixx. Every time you say, who's talking this, who's talking that, I've usually done a video on it.
Right.
Except for Billy Squire.
Right. But that's okay. It's music, and we're always talking
I
music
love it.
here in the warehouse.
Absolutely.
But if you haven't subscribed to Steven's channel, the link is down below. Please check out his channel. Before we get started, is there anything else? What's happening over on Schnee TV, or give us a brief run through before we start this program?
Well, I'm currently working on episode 6 of Schnee TV, and it's got a lot of great. If you haven't watched Schnee TV, it's indie music videos. So you'll see a couple of music videos, and I'll come on and introduce. You know, it's like watching 120 minutes or something like that on MTV. And it's going to be about every 2 weeks. I used to do it every week, but then I'm spacing it out now. Lots of great music, lots of great independent artists, mostly gearing towards the power poppy thing. But I do like to throw people off by throwing in some European industrial electronic music in there as well. A whole lot of fun. And then, of course, my usual videos.
Right. So there you go. Please check out Steve's channel if you haven't yet. So links down below. Please subscribe. Check out a video. Leave a comment. Give him some love. So anyway, tonight Steve is here, and we are going to rank the albums from the Fixx. So the Fixx, new wave band, formed in London, 1979. Group lineup. I mean, they've been fairly stable throughout their whole career.
We're talking vocalist Cy Curnin, guitarist Jamie West-Oram, drummer Adam Woods, and keyboard player Rupert Greenall. They have been with the band since the beginning, throughout the entire career. Only the bass player has changed. But through most of their career, Dan K. Brown has been with them. Basically, Dan K. Brown came along right after the recording of Reach the Beach. And there was a period there where he wasn't in the band. Gary Tibbs played bass for a while. And Gary Tibbs, of course, from Adam and the Ants, Roxy Music, The Vibrators, Hazel O'Connor, tons of bands like that. Alfie Agius played bass very briefly, very temporarily during Reach the Beach. He used to be in a band called Interview. And another Rupert, and the name totally slips or last name slips my mind. He was the bassist on the first album. I apologize for forgetting his last name.
That's all right. But this band, okay, this is how this is how I look at the Fixx. They had a rapid rise because their second album, Reach the Beach, 1983, really took off. If you don't know the Fixx, you have to know this 80s track, One Thing Leads to Another. Great track. It was all over the radio back in the day. But their records, they had the first album, which we'll talk about it, but they had a rapid ascent. And then they kind of went up, and they just kind of went back down, and they never achieved that success that they ever had, at least in the States, like they did on that first album. So anyway, I've had Steve come over, and we're going to talk about this record. It'd be a great topic. He brought this up. I want to thank you, Steve, for bringing up the Fixx.
Yeah,
great band.
It's a band I love to talk about. You see, and you were talking about commercially, they had that rise. And as Grant knows, and as probably a lot of you out there knows, when we talk about commercial success, we're not talking about talent or quality of the music. We're just talking, they came. The Fixx snuck in, and that ascent was quick, but they have continued to this day to be a great band. Somebody an ex-girlfriend of mine. We went to see them during the Beautiful Friction tour, and I've seen the Fixx live more than any other band, probably anywhere between 7 and 9 times. And every time they give a great show. And this ex-girlfriend of mine, this isn't the reason why she's my ex, but she kind of made fun of them. She said, he's up there on the stage, they're playing San Juan Capistrano, the Coach House, which is just a small venue, probably 500 people.
Mm-hmm.
And packed. Every time they play there, they're packed. But she was saying he's playing, or he's acting like he's playing to a stadium. And that's the thing. The Fixx always give 150%. Whether there's 30 people in the audience to, I've seen them play the Universal Amphitheater. I've seen them play Irvine Meadows, and I've seen them play an outdoor stage in Newport Beach, and I've seen them play the Coach House, and every time it's just this chemistry between these band members is amazing. It's like it's really wonderful. And their catalog that we are going to talk about, there's not a bad album in the bunch. To me, it's kind of like comparing the Beatles. They don't sound like the Beatles, but you know how one day you wake up and Abbey Road's your favorite, and the next day you wake up and it's Rubber Soul. The next day you wake up, it's Beatles 6, or whatever you grew up on. And that's kind of the same way it is with the Fixx for me. The thing about the Fixx records is sometimes you dig them when they first come out, but then you learn to appreciate them even more over time. So you could listen to something such as Walkabout, and you can go, oh, that's got a lot of great songs on it. But then like 4 or 5 years later, you throw it on and it hits you much harder than it did the first time you heard it. So their albums continue to grow. And let me tell you real fast, this may frustrate some people. We are only going to focus on the studio album. So we're not going to talk about React, their live album, which has a re-recorded studio version of Red Skies on it, but it also has one of my favorite Fixx songs. There's 3 studio tracks on this. A song called Don't Be Scared, which has never appeared on any album, not even on compilations, and it's an incredible song. Missing Links is a great collection of early tracks and some like remixes of stuff from the first album. 1011 Woodland is acoustic re-recordings plus some live stuff. We're not talking about that. Happy Landings, which is more unreleased stuff. We're not talking about that. Stage 1, which this is actually was available through the band, through their website. And this is essentially during the Touch tour or whatever, they went into the studio and they recorded their live set. And but it's all in the studio. So it's actually a live recording, and you get pictures there. And that's like a super rare thing. And then of course, then there's various compilations we're not going to talk about, but I just want to show you. Cy Curnin has was it 4 or 5? 5 solo albums out, which are great. And Jamie West-Oram just last year released a solo album. But that's it. We're going to talk about the studio albums. I just wanted to run that by you because if you're a fan, just wanted to let you know this other stuff is out there. So if you dig what we talk about here, then there's just so much more to love about this band.
Yeah, it's great. The Fixx are one of those quintessential 80s bands. You go on Sirius XM, go on the 80s channel where the VJs hang out. You'll always hear the Fixx. They have never not been relevant. I think that their catalog is incredible. Yeah, they've got some albums that are really iconic, and people know who those are.
Mm-hmm.
But some of those later albums, you might want to revisit them. And so that's kind of what the exercise is for this show. We're going to go and rank them. And like Steve said, there are no weak albums here. They're just different, So we're just going to do it. And we've got 10 albums. And Steve already you got all your props.
Well, I hope that I have 10. I never counted how many I
I
have.
think
Let me
I've
see.
got 10.
Let me see. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Ooh. I mean, I knew I had
That
them
was
all, but I never counted.
all right. So anyway, 10 albums. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna try to keep it moving. We'll just try to go an hour. We don't
Hmm.
want to drag this out for days, but
Hmm.
there are a lot of albums. We'll try to keep it concise and just give our ranking. So I think what we're gonna do, we have 10. Should we go? Hmm, I don't know. What do you think, Steve? We should double up some of these though.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
I
2,
mean, do you
1.
think we can go through them if we just go back and forth 10, 10, 10?
I think so.
All right, let's
I think
do
we
it. Give
should.
it a shot.
But before we do this, one thing I noticed about the Fixx, and it's not so much now, but like 10, 20 years ago, what I was discovering was um, when I came across big Fixx fans, we're talking during concerts and stuff like that, they weren't talking about Flock of Seagulls and Culture Club and OMD, things like that. Their other favorite band was usually Rush, because they're more into the musicianship of the band. So if you listen to um, the Fixx, Rupert plays keyboards, but he's not. They're nowhere close to a synth pop band. He layers the music into it. He adds atmosphere to the music. He adds great but it's more, keyboard parts, but it's really more about atmosphere. And Jamie West-Oram's guitar playing is extremely unique. He could play funk and metal in two different strokes. I mean, not metal, hard rock or something.
Yeah.
Just really incredible. So,
Okay,
okay.
cool.
So
All
we're going to
right,
start
so
at number 10.
number 10, and we'll just go back and forth. So what's your number 10, Steve?
My number 10, the only reason this is number 10 is because I've had the least amount of time to live with this, because you really need to live with Fixx albums, really enjoy them. So every 5 seconds, their latest album, it's moody, it's wonderful, it's dark, but it's melodic. It's everything you love about the Fixx. But everything else here, I've had 10 to 40 years to listen to. This one I've only had, 2 years, 2 years to take in, 2 or 3 years. Um, and so that's why, and it's the classic Fixx sound. So that's my number 10.
All right, cool. My number 10, I'm going to go with Want That Life from 2003. Um, this has got a much more polished sound, much more radio friendly. Did this do anything? No, not in 2003. No one cared, but the hooks on this record, very melodic. The lyrics are introspective. It has the signature Fixx sound, but it's a little bit more radio friendly. Like I said, it's melodic. But it's considered a little bit less impactful because it's much more pop oriented. Now, you might like that. I think it's fine. Some of the key tracks that I think are great: Touch, very upbeat, catchy chorus. Um, it Fine. What a way to open a record. I have no problems with it. It's great. Want the Life, more introspective. It dives into the themes of desire, fulfillment. It's a little bit more slower, more reflective. And We Don't Own the World. And I think there's a lot of messages on this record because We Don't Own the World, critiques materialism, blah blah blah. If you're a lyric person, there's a lot here.
Mhm.
But it's got a driving beat that you can dance to and great lyrics. Nothing wrong with this record. They have to rank somewhere.
Mhm.
So that's my number 10.
My number 9 album by the Fixx. It's so hard to put these. In fact, I'm thinking right now of changing number 8, number
Well, you can
9.
you can switch them.
Number 9, I'm going to keep it as this, is
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Calm Animals.
Okay.
Now, the reason I'm choosing Calm Animals is because of the production. It's really, really tinny, but it has some of my favorite Fixx songs. Driven Out, one of my favorite Fixx songs ever. Precious Stone. The Flow is great. Subterranean. I mean, this is it's a rocking album. But the production kind of hinders it. It makes it sound more like a rock band than the Fixx. It's very much is the Fixx, but the layers that you're so used to on a Fixx album, they aren't really here, and that's why this is number. But still, again, all the stuff is absolutely great. This is the version though that has the bonus track. Never mind what you leave behind.
Is that the MCA CD? What?
No, this is the Rain Man version.
Just for everybody, just flip it around. Let me see the back of it because I've got the MCA. Okay, all right, cool.
You mean RCA? This was the first album for RCA.
Shoot. I'm so used to saying MCA.
Yeah,
RCA,
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, the Rain Man version. Now, Never Mind What You Leave Behind was cool because it was produced totally different. It was produced almost like a 60s track. You hear the drums in one channel.
Well, I kind of like
yeah, so it's kind of cool sounding. So it was very different. But that's the only thing that lets me down on this album is the production.
All right.
So, and that's my number.
I rated it a bit higher, which you might be surprised because usually productions like that I kind of go, but there's a lot there that's great on that record.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, nothing bad.
Nothing bad. All right, my number 9, I'm going to go with 1998's Elemental. Hey, this marks for me. This marks a return like to the earlier sound. It's very atmospheric, but yet, it's atmospheric. You got the sense. You've got that driving rock sound. It's got strong moments on it, but it did not. Think about it. We're in 1998. No one really cared. It didn't reach any kind of critical or commercial heights of their 80s work, but I think this record's often overlooked. And really, by us covering this, it's really about turning you on to stuff, and hopefully you can go out and check this band out. In fact, Steve, if you know this band, please down below in the comments, give us your ranking, give us your thoughts on this catalog. We do want to hear it because we read it. So anyway, that was a little mini tangent, but I think some of the key tracks, 2 different views, an album opener, a cap. Oh, come on. It's introspective. It's catchy. It's driving. I love it. Again, what a way to open the album. These guys know how to sequence. They know how to start a record. Great. Another great track, Happy Landings. Very optimistic. It's, there's always a lot of messages within the Fixx. Cy's lyrics, always very thought-provoking. Talks about hope with caution. Catchy melody, upbeat. I love it. Fatal Shore, I wrote down. This one's a little bit darker, a little bit more intense. It's powerful. And I will say this, I made on my notes, I said, Cy sounds wonderful on here.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's my number 9, but it's a good record. Check it out. So, all right, there you go. Number 9. Go ahead. What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Ink.
Oh,
again,
Steve, we are all over the map.
See, that's great.
No, that's what you want. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if his ranking's different than mine, you know that this is a strong catalog and that they could rank everywhere. So this is excellent. So,
again, this is so hard. These things constantly changed. Grant and I think only numbers 1 and 2 stayed the same. Everything else constantly changed up until just moments ago. But then I stuck with, but no, it's just amazing tracks, All Is Fair and How Much Is Enough and No One Has to Cry, Crucified. But then there's songs on here that I don't care too much about, like Falling in Love, which I don't even think they cared about. I think they had to record that for a soundtrack. They're sort of forced by their label to do that. But overall, and it has a couple different producers. Some songs produced by Rupert Hines, some songs produced by other people. And how much is enough? If that had been released, let's say if it was on their third album, it would have been a #1 single. Unfortunately, by this time, what year is Ink?
Ink is 1991.
Yeah, 91. By this time, people had moved on. The Fixx were still a great band. They are still a great band. If they come through your town, go see them because they're still great live. But so that's why this is my #8. There's a couple songs on it that I don't like as much as others. But still, the gems on this album are stunning.
I have Ink rated higher, but that's okay. I did mention that How Much Is Enough is an obvious hit single.
Yeah.
Obvious. It is a crime.
Yeah.
That it didn't get much notoriety.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to throw this out there because I really don't know how they fared on the UK charts. Now, here in the States, they didn't, no one really cared so much by 1991. Yeah. Did they have any more success in the UK?
I don't even know what albums were released over there because they didn't really have much success over there at all. They're either they just finished or they're in midst of, or they're going to do a short European tour this year. And it's probably their first time in a couple decades that they've toured there. And they tend to tour, apart from when the pandemic hit, they tend to tour almost every year here. And it's, like I said, still the same guys, and they're still creative, and they're still, yeah, it's wonderful.
Excellent. All right, my #8, I'm going to go with Every 5 Seconds. Steve already mentioned this. This is from 2022. Latest release, you've got modern elements. Okay, this is a good record. This is contemporary sounding, but then it does still have their classic sound.
Yeah.
You can hear this and you go, oh, well, that's the Fixx.
Yeah.
They're very creative here. They really haven't lost anything. But does it capture the magic of like Reach the Beach? I would say probably not. But we only go through life and bands have a certain, I don't want to say like expectancy, because the Fixx really bring it, but everybody matures, everybody ages. No, if you're expecting Reach the Beach, this isn't here, but my God, for a legacy band in 2022 to put out such a strong effort, I applaud them.
40 years after the first album.
Yeah, this is, yes, they have grown, they have morphed, they have changed, but still they can write a catchy song. They know how to do this. So it's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it's at #8, but there are other albums I like better. So A Life Survived, I think the opening track sets the tone for the record. It's got, like I said, it's got modern production with classic Fixx elements. Closer. This explores the themes of connection, intimacy. Words are hard, ladies and gentlemen. It's catchy, strong. Cy sounds great on this record. Wake Up. And after all these years, Cy still brings it.
Yeah.
Great. Wake Up's another great one. It's politically charged to a bit, but still great lyrics. The band sounds great. It's my #8. I can't complain about it, but they have to go somewhere. So, Steve, what's your #7?
That's 40 years after their debut album, and they don't sound tired at all.
No.
They still sound like what's the next step? Yeah, we are going to move forward. They are remaining who they are, but they do evolve. They do evolve. So we're going to get, was this #7 now?
#7.
My #7. It's hard, but Beautiful Friction. This was a great album. I think it was the first album in like 9 years or something.
Yeah.
And I I do think this is better than Every 5 Seconds, which is why I rated it higher. But it's along the same lines. As you can tell, it has very similar artwork, um, and it's still uh, so what God, Follow That Cab, Girl with No Ceiling. These are songs that are just as strong as anything in their catalog. And, this was 30 years into their career, still creating great music. I remember when this album came out, they said, we promise it's not going to be that long of a wait. Because I think Want That Life was the album before this. And they were saying, oh, yeah, it's not going to be that long of a wait in between albums. We're already working on our next album. Well, it was a longer wait. It was a 10-year wait instead of a 9-year wait. Dang you. So whatever they Fixx say, it's not going to be a long wait. They lie. But incredible. It's moody. It's full of hope, full of life, but it's also steeped in reality. It's an album that has the brightness and the darkness of life, and it's just truly wonderful. And that's my number 7.
That's good. All right. See, we're like one album apart because my number 7's Ink from 1991.
Okay.
Things that I wrote down. I wrote a lot of the same notes down because the thing with the Fixx is that yes, they're creative. Yes, they have memorable hooks, but this is all through the catalog. There's just like different degrees of it. So I've put this at number 7. It's even more polished than the previous record, and has radio friendly sound. Because I look at this, we're looking at 1991. We had hits. 1983. The record company's probably going, you know what, boys? We're due for a hit. And of course, they're going to make their sound more polished. But still, yes, is it more polished? But does that take away anything from the material? No. You've got melodic hooks. You've still got those introspective lyrics. Cy sounds great. Yeah, it's much more pop oriented, but it still sounds like the Fixx. It's solid. This is a solid record. But it's just not as essential as what came before. It's where I have to rank them. But there's nothing wrong with it. The Fixx in 1991, they sound great. We already talked about this track. How Much Is Enough? An obvious hit single. Oh my God. It is the melody, the lyrical content, absolutely brilliant. It's sad that this never got much recognition. Brilliant. I will go brilliant. Essential Fixx. All Is Fair. That's the opener. It's upbeat, catchy chorus. You'll find a lot of the same, what do I want to say? A lot of the same tendencies throughout their catalog. Great. Yesterday, Today, very reflective. It's a little bit slower. It's much more introspective, but the I was going to call him The Cure, but the Fixx, I could have just described The Cure too, ladies and gentlemen, but the Fixx, very introspective, and whatever they do, if it's a faster track, a slower track, it gives me that stamp of Fixx. You know exactly who it is. So anyway, number 7, it's fine. It has to go somewhere. So what's your number 6?
Same thing with here. My number 6. I'm going on number 6 now, and that's Elemental from 1998. Grant talked about it a few minutes ago. Full of wonderful, great songs. This is an album. I said earlier how the Fixx releases an album, and you go, "Oh my God, I love that song," and "Oh, I love that song," and then the more you listen to it over the years, the albums just get better.
Well, you mentioned that. This is how I define pet sounds. My buddy said, Grant, you have to hear pet sounds. When I first put it on, I'm going, ooh, ooh. I'm a big Beatles fan. Pet Sounds was my gateway drug because he said, this is brilliant. You got to hear it. It took me a long time for Pet Sounds to open itself up. And I think this album is the more you listen to it, the more it opens itself up. I think this is a good example. And
Mhm.
some of the Fixx catalog, maybe some of the later stuff, it's kind of like that. But there's a lot here to dive into. So yeah, you're 100% right. Takes a
Now,
bit.
one thing I wanted to bring up, you had mentioned the song Fatal Shore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the tsunami hit, what was it, 2000,
Which
2000,
one?
the
Just
tsunami,
Japanese?
the one in Asia,
Yeah, yeah.
2005, I think it was.
Probably somewhere in there.
Well, 2004, and I put together a 2 CD um, benefit album, and the Fixx submitted a song. They submitted the version of Fatal Shore, which is featured on stage one. And if you go out and look for that CD called Of Hands and Hearts, you are going to also find an unreleased Wang Chung song. You're going to find Paul Collins' Beat on there. You're going to find a lot of modern bands. But no, I was so grateful for the Fixx for allowing me to use a song on that compilation. And that is the song Fatal Shore.
Excellent.
So, but anyway, go ahead. I just talked about my number 6. Now it's your turn.
My number 6, I'm going to go with Walkabout from 1986. This album, as I've talked about, they kind of get more polished as they keep going. It doesn't take anything away from it. But as always, Cy always has these socially conscientious lyrics. We have them here. But, when this came out in 86, I don't think people really paid attention to it so much. There's nothing wrong with this record. It's a great record. Because when I listen to this record, it carries over right from the earlier period. Because music taste change, 86, okay, it's fine. But there is not a weak song on here as far as I'm concerned. And the band is tight. They sound great. And this is a great record. I wish it got more credit than what it does, but it is what it is, these bands, it's complicated. You can't have the lifespan of the Beatles. No one's like that. And I could see the Fixx totally having that, but they didn't.
Mhm.
So, Secret Separation. Oh my God, hit single. It talks about personal emotional detachment. Catchy chorus, strong production. I don't have a problem with this record at all. Built for a future. Again, memorable hooks, great beat. You can dance to it, kids. Wonderful. Treasure It, reflective song. The lyrics, like I mentioned before, are very deep with a lot of these. But if you're just listening to it casually, you might not pick up on it. But really, go down to the lyrics. You check out these lyrics. There's a lot to think about. But this is smooth. Treasure, it's very smooth, very melodic, great tracks. But again, I keep saying this over and over again. It's my number 6. It's not quite as what went before, so they have to land somewhere. So, all
Well,
right,
here's the thing
go
about
ahead.
the Fixx is there's so many layers to their music. I mean, you could go in and you could listen to something and go, "Oh man, that's a great Cy vocal." The next time you listen to it, oh my God, Dan K. Brown came up with this really cool little bass line. And you're just discovering new things every time you listen to it. You're discovering a certain little rhythmic pattern. You're discovering, maybe a little guitar overdub that Jamie did. Every album is an adventure. In fact, that's what their next compilation should be called.
Next adventure.
Or a box set of the Fixx albums, just called Every Album an Adventure.
Good.
But let's go to my number 5.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Want That Life. I love this album. I don't think it's as commercial as what you're saying. I think it's very earthy, actually. And you can tell that this was an independently produced album. They weren't out there using big bucks, big studios, all this kind of stuff. It still sounds lush and organic and very much like the Fixx. But as you said, Touch is a great opener. There's a song here called Are You Satisfied? And my mother, when this album came out, she was 69, I think. And during the last year of her life, she would ask me, or last 2 years of her life, she would ask me to make her compilation tapes or compilation CDRs. And I would put mellow songs from a bunch of modern artists. And Are You Satisfied was, out of all the songs that I used, that's the one she would always just say, I love that song. And when the band came and they were promoting this album, they were playing in Newport Beach, Fashion Island, free show. She was all set to go, but then she got anxiety and then she wasn't able to go or whatever. But they did the song and stuff. But so I have like an emotional attachment to that song because, my mom's passed since then. But this album, I think, is strong. It's interesting when you hear Brave, they have that sax on it. It sounds like, they were recording it, as Saturday Night Live, went to commercial. So it has a New York vibe to it, but I love this record. I think you say it's, or you hear commercial, I hear, again, and this is the great thing because we're listening to it from two different angles. I hear something more earthy, more natural, more open.
I just think it's polished, and I think it's better suited for radio.
Right, right, yeah. Again, doesn't it make you scratch your head when you sit there? I mean, Are You Satisfied should be known by every Fixx fan. From Ink, How Much Is Enough.
Mm-hmm.
These are songs that everybody should know, but they don't. So that's my number 5.
All right, cool. Well, my number 5, I'm going to go with Calm Animals from 1989. Steve mentioned this before, that this is much more it's much more straightforward in that rock vein. It's not quite what you would assume that the Fixx would be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a departure, and I think it still works. It's still very atmospheric. There are some elements to like their previous work, but I do think the production's very tight. They have a lot more mature themes here. They're growing, they're maturing. I think it's okay, but it is a little bit different. Now, I don't know if the record company went, well, we'd love to have something like this. Was the Fixx at this point, they already had their peak? Are they looking for something else? Are they trying to redefine themselves? I don't know. Tell us in the comments if you know this record, how you look at this record. But it's more straightforward rock. Now, can the Fixx do this? Of course they can. I put it at number 5. I think it's great because I do think that the songwriting is just as good as what they had before. Driven Out, standout track.
Oh my God.
Incredible. It was a minor hit.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it's still what you expect from the Fixx. It sounds like the Fixx. Great track.
Mm-hmm.
Precious Stone, very reflective.
Mm-hmm.
It's very deep. All these tracks are pretty deep with the lyrical content, but it's a little bit slower, a little bit meditative, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with it. Calm Animals, title track, kind of deals with that tension between calm and chaos. The arrangement's great. The lyrics are great. It screams to me Fixx. Yeah, it's a little bit different, but I think there's a lot here to offer, and I put it at my number 5, so I don't really have an issue with it. I just kind of look at it that the Fixx are maybe stretching out a little bit, and I'm assuming the record company's just letting them do what they want to do, but I have no idea.
Yeah, like I said, William Whitman normally does great production. I liked his production, a lot of other stuff. Like I said, I just felt that Calm Animals, it didn't have that spacious feel of a Fixx record.
It's just very tight.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
So, all right, what's your number 4?
Number 4. Phantoms.
We are never going to sync up. I don't
No,
think.
we're not going to sync up. Phantoms, I think, is a great record, but I think it was too quick of a follow up. I think that they had a bunch of songs and they kind of had to go in the studio. You know, they only had enough time to you know to write these songs. So you're getting more Fixx songs on the album than on the two previous, and then I think more songs than because they did 12 songs, I think, and everything else was about 10. And the songs were generally shorter. So you're getting Sunshine in the Shade, which is a hit single, but it's like under 3 minutes long. And that's kind of not what the Fixx usually tend to spread things out. You know, the chorus is, it isn't just like, you know, it's not like that Roxette album title, Don't Bore Us, Get to the Chorus. The Fixx take their time. And on this album, I don't think that they took that time in a lot of these songs. I don't think I Will is a successful ballad. But again, this is a soundtrack of my life. It's hard to say why I like this less than other albums, or why I like it more than others, because it's a wonderful album. Of course, I have the one-way version that has a few extra bonus tracks.
Well, cool.
So
yeah, I've not seen that version.
Yeah,
I've got the MCA.
Yeah, this has Less Cities, More Moving People extended, Sunshine in the Shade live, and I Will extended.
Excellent. This is kind of weird that One Way would put that out.
Well, One Way was doing Universal stuff. Now, here's the weird thing about the Fixx is, I'm part of the Fixx Facebook group. I don't comment much in there because, I usually don't comment a lot. But a lot of people complaining that there's not a lot of Fixx available for streaming. Not all their catalog is there. So I'm hoping that they're wrestling back control of their catalog and going to be able to maybe put something out. Because I think at a certain point, like when React came out, the live album, they re-recorded Red Skies and stuff. And they weren't really focusing on the stuff off of the first album, Shuttered Room. I think that at some point they had legal issues with that album. And then that got freed up and they reissued it. And just right now, I don't think all this is available to stream. And that's perfectly fine with me. That's why they call me the CD junkie.
Exactly. I don't stream. So
yeah, exactly. I'm bringing that up because people need to go out and buy this stuff.
Yeah.
Heck,
even if you can find it used. You know what? This is funny. We're going on a tangent. But, I go out and look at the bins quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I never see any Fixx anymore. You used to see them back in the 80s, the 90s, but I never see anything anymore.
Yeah, you used to always see like Elemental or maybe even the RCA version of Calm Animals. And yeah, if anything, you might see the Ultimate Collection or Greatest Hits.
Okay. If I do see anything, it's the Greatest Hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
The white cover with them on the front.
Yes. On the beach or whatever. Hold on. Let me find it here amongst my.
Yeah. We need a graphic.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it here. Well, here's the Ultimate Collection, which is better than the Greatest Hits, but that's hard to find now.
Yeah. I've never seen that.
Is this the Greatest Hits you're talking about?
Correct. That if I see anything out there in the wild, it's that. So what I was going to say, I go out in the used bins and I only see that Greatest Hits album. It's kind of sad because maybe it's good news. Maybe people are going out there trying to find the catalog and they're getting rid of the Greatest Hits records. I don't know, because what's a shame is that there's so much more to the Fixx than just the Greatest Hits record. So I think everybody needs to Well, I hope everyone can go down in that rabbit hole that we've opened up and check
Yeah,
it out.
I even have spare versions of Reach the Beach
And they're
and
all signed.
yeah, these are the MCA ones, but they're signed to Steve. So it's not like I can sell them unless your name is Steve. But those are the
Who
original
signed those? Who
MCA ones.
signed those?
Uh this one is Cy and Jamie. This one is Cy and Jamie. And then I know that remember once I got in trouble because I brought my copy of Want This Life and it had Cy, Jamie, Rupert, Adam, and I think Gary Tibbs is on there as well.
Okay.
And the guy at their merch booth was saying, "You owe me money for because you brought your own CD and you didn't buy one here autographed." I think he was joking, but
I hope so.
yeah. So I punched him and ran, man, and I ran fast, and I haven't stopped running ever since.
He's still running. He's still stressed out about it.
Exactly.
All right. Cool. Well, we're going to keep this going. God, this is going to be a long show. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how long we've been going. My number 4 is going to be Beautiful Friction from 2012. As Steve mentioned before, this is a strong album. They took a decade off. They're back. And a lot of these bands, I think they get refreshed after taking a long time off. They have a long time to write songs. They have a long time to recoup before they get back out. But this, they sound much more mature. Of course they do. It's 2012. It's been a decade. But I think the lyrics are great. It's polished. It sounds great. It sounds like it's probably, well, I'm rating it at number 4. In their later catalog, this is one of my favorite albums by then. The track Anyone Else, like I said, they know how to open up a record. All right, so key tracks for me, Anyone Else. What a great opener. It just captures the band. It is the Fixx. It's got a driving Fixx type of track. It discusses themes of change, individuality. All the Fixx is very deep. Beautiful Friction, the title track, atmospheric synths, great rhythm. It almost feels like there's a tension when you hear this track. It's beautiful. You feel conflicted. It's a beautiful track. Just Before Dawn, yet another great one. It's kind of moody. It's very dynamic. All these records, the songwriting on all these Fixx records, ladies and gentlemen, is top notch. The production may vary a little bit, but my God.
Usually Rupert Hines' production is pretty amazing.
Amazing. And this record, I think, is amazing. Rupert Hines. Yeah. My number 4. I'm sorry, maybe I'm totally wrong, but we all hear this stuff differently. And I think for a band that had been out of commission for 10 years and come back with something this strong, you have to make note of it because it's a beautiful record. It's a great record. And we all rank them somewhere. So there you go. There's my number 4. What's your number?
And they were, to reiterate, is they never broke up, whatever. They still toured every year,
they just didn't record.
Year. Yeah. They just built up a catalog. Imagine the stuff that they have recorded that they thought, that's not good enough. I bet you it would knock us flat. It'd be so great. I wish they'd just say, "Hey, Schnee, why don't you come through our catalog and we'll start putting out together these vault releases and you can pick and choose tracks." And I would say, okay. So we're going to go to my number 3. Are we ready? Are we ready for my number 3?
Ready. I'm ready. I can't imagine what it is, but we're kind of narrowing it down. So,
Walkabout.
Okay.
I love this album.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, this is an album that I loved when it came out, but I just loved it even more just throughout the years. I love the feel of this album. You had Phantoms, which was before it, which I was not 100% pleased by, but I saw them on that tour. In fact, I think I saw them on this tour. But there were shorter spurts of songs. This sounds like the Fixx that I loved off the first two albums, where they're letting the songs breathe more. And so you're getting things like Secret Separation, which is just glorious. Because even though sometimes Rupert Hines' production could sound a little brittle at some points, there was still, it was almost like you could just sort of spread that apart and just absorb the atmospherics of like Rupert's keyboard playing, and of course Cy. This album I think is solid. Now, what people have to remember, Grant, and I don't know if yours is this. Do you have this on CD or vinyl?
I've got it on CD.
Okay, there's two different versions of it on CD. One of them, which is mine, has a song called Camphor at the end. And then there's a space of like 8 minutes of silence, and then you get another track, which is a wonderful track. I forgot the name of it. Sorry. Anybody out there who's watching this video, please write the name of it.
So is that track unlisted on?
It's unlisted. It's unlisted. So if you have a version of the CD,
I can't remember,
and the song Camphor is like 12 minutes long, then you have the correct version that has the bonus track. And that bonus track is just Jamie playing this little riff and Cy singing over it. It's just incredible. But I think that they actually did re-record that, or there's another version that might be on Missing Links or something. But this is an album that's moodier than Phantoms. And I think that the mood, I think it's great because the Fixx is one of those bands that your mood sometimes dictates the way that you feel about the band. So you could be feeling down or whatever, and then an album might feel a little bit down to you. But when you're feeling up, you're feeling optimism from that very same album. Drudy Column does that for me. A group called the Miracle Mile, a more modern band, does that for me, where you listen to it and it sounds different depending on your mood. And Walkabout is an album that it just delivers every single time. It could sound beautiful and wonderful, or it could sound sad and incredible. So that's my number 3. Are you still looking to see if you have the?
Yeah, because there's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tracks.
The very last track, how long does it say it is?
3 minutes and
you don't have the
seconds.
Right version.
Well, no, this is the LP version.
Oh, okay.
I'm just checking. I'm on Discogs. Okay, so the hidden track is Peace on Earth.
Okay, there you go.
And I'm looking at it. God, I'm just trying to go off memory, but I think I've got it on there. God, I should have pulled it, but I didn't. So anyway, yeah, so Peace on Earth is the hidden track.
Yeah.
And they kind of group it together. So both tracks combined, it's 10 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah, I have to double check. I can't remember. Oh well.
Great song.
I'm a monkey, so I don't remember. All right, cool. Anything more to add on that?
No, just that I love this album.
Okay, cool. All right, this might be a shocker because I think a lot of people think that this is probably the best record, which I could see that. Any of these top 3 they could just, as far as I'm concerned, heck, even the top 4 could move around. And, that's really saying something to give Beautiful Friction that number 4 spot, because I just think it's that great. Just goes to show you how great the catalog is. But my number 3, I'm going to go with Shuttered Room 1982. I mean, it's new wave. This is probably the most raw you're going to get the Fixx. Of course, like we've been talking about, they evolve, but this is the first record. It's very raw. And of course, it's got some key tracks. I mean, God, oh my God. Stand or Fall, the first major hit. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely catchy. The playing's great. The band sounds wonderful. but they're young and hungry at this point. They sound wonderful. And when you get back up to Beautiful Friction, they still sound wonderful. Red Skies, which I would have to say is my favorite Fixx track. It's great. I would say Red Skies is an anthem. If you're looking at an anthem for this band, I'd say that might check that box. But the
Hmm.
thing about Red Skies, I just love the production. It's atmospheric.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just it encapsulates that early 80s thing perfectly. I love it. Another great track is Some People. Got a lot of jangly guitars on it. And the synths are really moody. And I think it's another great track. There are other great tracks. It's a great record. Heck, it's my number three, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, like I said, I could rate it higher, but today we're going to go with number three because there's a couple of more records that I'm more into at the moment. But if you are getting into the Fixx, you've got to have this record. There's no doubt. So it's just iconic. It's classic. It's a beautiful record. I don't think it's just quite as strong as the other two records that I'm going with.
Hmm. Okay. So I'm going to give you number two.
Number two.
Number two. And it's not number two, if you know what I mean. If you
No,
catch if you catch what I'm laying down.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah. number number two, Shuttered Room.
Okay.
Two
Well,
versions of Shuttered Room. Two different versions. The one brief story. I was really into Split Ends. Massive Split Ends fan. Phil Judd from Split Ends formed a band called Swingers. So I had the Australian version of the first Swingers album. Then in America, they put out an album called, I think Counting the Beat is the name of the American album. So I bought that too. I was a big fan. I walk into Licorice Pizza one day. They have a poster and they're advertising two new releases. One is that Swingers album that I already had. The
Mhm.
second album is an album called Shuttered Room by a band called The Fixx. And I said, you know what? That band, The Fixx, they're on the same poster as the Swingers. I love the Swingers. I'm spending my money and I'm buying The Fixx just because of that poster, just because they're on the same poster as the Swingers. Took the album home. Holy for holy. This American version. Now, it has the great Fixx sound that we know and love. I think Red Skies, Stand or Fall. Some People is a great song, but it sounds like this album is them finding that sound, them doing different things. Some People doesn't sound like the Fixx. If you threw that on and told a non-Fixx fan to name the band, they would not be able to name who that was. But here in Southern California, KROQ picked up on, of course, Stand or Fall, Red Skies. They also
Yeah.
played The Strain, which was a B-side, which was only on the American version of the album. And then Lost Planes got played. And then, of course, see, like the song Shuttered Room doesn't sound like the Fixx. It still sounds like they're searching for that sound. And most of the album is them in full flight, full Fixx flight. The UK version, which came out first, it doesn't have The Strain on it. It doesn't have, in fact, it has Sinking Island, which is not on the American version, which is a great, fun song. It also has,
Time in a
uh,
Glass.
yeah, Time in a Glass, which is not on. No, I'm sorry, Time in a Glass was a B-side. So I'm forgetting here. But maybe Sinking On is the only song it doesn't have.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the album has a whole different feel to it. But it's still great. It's just as great as the American track listing. So you're getting 10 songs, and then what they did is they took Sinking Island off, they added The Strain to the American, and then they changed the song list around. So you're getting I Found You as the album opener, which was actually on this CD. It's the second song, but just in case anybody cares, there you can see both the track listings. There are a couple extra songs on on the import one as well. So you get the strain added as a bonus track, but and then Time in a Glass as well. Incredible, just the mood and that energy, that musical discovery. They're discovering themselves while also presenting these just incredible songs and just kicking the doors down and just saying, we're here. And 40 years later, or 42 years later, I'm still just as excited about their catalog as I was back then.
Yeah. It's great. In fact, I love doing these shows because I was unaware that the track listing for the US CD or the LP was different in the UK. That's why we sit here and talk music, because
Yeah.
we always learn something. And I didn't know that, but that, think about it. That's what they did back in the day. These UK artists, the American record companies would go, well, we think we can make a better album. It all started back in the Beatles, back in the old days.
Yeah.
So they're still doing it here.
Yeah. I mean, Depeche Mode.
Culture Club, same kind of thing.
Depeche Mode up through what's the album or up through Black Celebration. There was one difference on every album. They either added a song or switched out a song, or for the first album they put the extended mix of Just Can't Get Enough instead of the album mix or the single mix.
You gotta like that though.
What was that?
I like that.
Yeah. But it's so bad, it was like this. They were
Duran.
Yeah, they're rebuilding the album for the American market.
Well, let me ask you this. You probably like both equally. Is there a certain, which one works better for you? Which one do you think's a better lineup? Sequencing the way record plays?
I'm going to have to go with the domestic or the US one, because you know how it's always the first one that you get into, just like when you talk about, again, bringing up the Beatles' Rubber Soul. The American one had fewer tracks, felt more like an acoustic, folky album. And that's the version that I heard 300 or 400 times before I actually heard the UK version of the album. I love the UK version because it has more tracks. It's a whole different vibe to it.
Yeah, once you add I Just Seen a Face and you add those acoustic tracks onto it, Girl and all that, it totally changes the whole vibe of the record.
Yeah, with the Beatles up until right before Sgt. Pepper, every album was different between the UK and the US. The Fixx, it was only, I think, the first album that was different. I think, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen like a UK version of any of the albums after the first album.
Well, I have it.
So, but
like
yeah,
I said, I didn't realize that this had different track listing.
Yeah, but see, that's just nerd me.
That's all right. It's all good.
So
hey, in the comments, if you know both versions, let us know what you think. I'm always fascinated to know. So, all right. So
Boomtown Rats, Mondo Bongo was the same thing. They added up all night, totally mixed up the tracks, and it felt like a full or a completely different album, even though most of it was the same. So,
well, it's like Rubber Soul. You get rid of all the rockers and you put the folky tracks in.
Yeah, see, that's what I loved about Rubber Soul, is I love that American version.
It totally works, though.
Yeah, it does.
It's amazing. So, well, I like both, but I would have to say that the American version of Rubber Soul flows better.
Yeah.
One of the ones that they got right. So, anyway. All right. So, that was your number 2?
2, yes.
All right. My number 2. Steve rated this a bit lower, but I'm going to go with, I think this is a great record. It's a little bit more darker, a little bit more complex than the previous record, but I'm going to go with Phantoms from 1984. Now, Steve mentioned that he thought that the band sounded a bit tired. Maybe they needed to work on their songwriting. I personally don't really hear that.
Not tired, but just not ready.
Not ready.
Yeah.
But I think this is damn near just as good. It still has that new wave sound.
Mm.
I mean, the fans love this record. Some of the tracks I made notes are We Ourselves. Oh my God.
Oh God.
Come on.
Yeah.
What a great hit single. Oh my
Oh.
God. That I might like that even better than Red Skies at Night. I don't
Oh.
know. But it's very memorable,
Yeah.
introspective. It is perfect. The production's great. Less cities, more moving people. That's a song about urban sprawl. It's the I made a note on here about the rhythmic portion of it. It's almost the way this is. I'm not going to tell you what time signatures, but it's almost hypnotic. It just kind of draws you into the track, and I don't know. I think it's great. Sunshine in the Shade. You know, you've got an upbeat track, but it's kind of dark lyrically.
Hmm.
Um, But you know, again, the Fixx has done this multitude of times. They blend dark, they blend light elements, and they kind of contrast them together. And when they
Hmm.
do that, it works. So those are three tracks which I think are phenomenal. The whole damn thing's good. Um, I don't know. I don't hear him so much as I think that the material's fine, but well, I didn't rate it at number one, so there must be something to that that it's a little bit of a drop down, but
Well, not
not by
everything can be
much.
number one.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, a lot of when I think of a band like the Fixx, a lot of my decision making in regards of what I'm going to listen to, what my favorite song is, what my favorite
Hmm.
album is, it's all based on nostalgia and how it makes me feel. Because I'm somebody I'm an emotional listener. So, I'm going to hear Christopher Cross Sailing, whereas some people hear this, sappy yacht rock song. I hear this incredible song that reminds it's I don't have it linked to anybody or any specific person or specific occasion in my life, but it reminds me of everything from growing up. It reminds me of my parents who are no longer with us, my other family members, friendships that are broken, hearts that were broken. It's just a beautiful song, and it draws me in that way. That's what makes me pick my albums, my bands, my artists.
Hmm.
It's never about what makes me cool because I am not cool. Uh, but I'm honest.
You seem cool.
Well, no, I mean, right now it's hot. It's the summer.
Well, yeah. Well, see, you are cool. Well, kind of. Not really. Well, I'm assuming we both know what our number one is then. We might as well talk about this together. Yeah. And look, of course it's signed. He didn't
Yes.
put up anything that's not signed. Have you noticed that, ladies and
No,
gentlemen?
I think no, the Liz too. I don't have signed,
Oh, ooh.
but this is the version with bonus tracks.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I just got the regular MCA.
Did you ever hear the single, the UK single? Oh my God,
The single mix,
Saved by Zero.
the UK mix,
Yes,
single mix.
yes.
Oh, look, we got confetti.
Oh,
Huh,
see, I can't do that. I do that.
well, I got balloons. Damn it. All
Uh,
right.
damn it.
Uh, I don't know if I've heard the UK mix, single mix
First
of that.
off, it's an entirely different mix of the song,
Hmm.
but also it's an entirely different vocal. And
Hmm.
after the first verse, entirely different lyrics.
And I'm assuming that's on that
That is a
device.
bonus track on this. Yes.
So when you listen to it, you sit there and go, wow, that's cool. Is it kind of jarring? I mean, how similar is it to the original track? Other than the lyrics, I guess I would really alter it to some degree.
They call it the extended version, but it's not really, well, it's extended by a minute, I think. Um, I have
So,
to I have to figure out what else it's on because I know it's on something else.
so what's your go-to version of that?
Oh, the album, the version we're familiar with. I'll tell you, when I think about Saved by Zero, that
Mhm.
might be my favorite Fixx song. Might
Yeah, I
be.
could see that.
But again, it's mood. It's the maybe someday, and then those chord changes, the saved by zero, that chord change right there is just rips my heart out and just throws it at the sun. It's just so amazing. And this whole album. Now, I have to admit, I'm not the world's biggest fan of One Thing Leads to Another. It's a great song.
It's a great song.
It
The
is.
guitar sounds great. The chorus is great.
Mhm.
Come on. It's a perfect single. It
Right.
is. So Saved by Zero, though.
Yes, Saved by Zero is incredible. Sign of Fire. Hello, knock, knock, who's there? Perfection.
I wrote that down too.
Yeah, Running
energetic.
Mhm.
Dang.
Running is incredible. Opinions, one of my absolute favorite Fixx songs. My little sister, who I don't know if I got her into the Fixx. I think she thought Cy was cute. So this is 83. So she's 13 going on 14. And we used to walk to Licorice Pizza, which is a record store.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to walk and I used to go, watching, waiting, playing who's who, right? And every single time we walked to Licorice Pizza. And I don't think she cares too much when I pull that out nowadays.
You still do that?
I think I try to. Reach the Beach, incredible. Changing, Liner, Privilege, Outside. Hello, knock, knock, who's there? Perfection again. And
There's
then this
perfection on the whole thing.
This is an incredible album from Rupert Hines production. Rupert Hines had this tendency to take the Rupert Hines sound, but then take sometimes you think, because his own albums, which I love his studio stuff, sounds very similar to the Fixx. He sounds like a one-man Fixx, him, Think Man and stuff. But what some people may hear as clinical, keyboard type stuff. No, every layer of what he does is unique and emotional. And the Fixx, he took him, there's a lot of Rupert Hines in the Fixx's first couple albums, but it's not a Rupert Hines album because the Fixx, they had very strong personalities. And this is when they became the Fixx. Shuttered Room, great album, but this is when that Fixx sound, that Jamie West-Oram classic guitar tone, everything, it just leapt from this back then, the turntable. And, I had every single, I had, picture discs, all that kind of stuff. And still I don't have that stuff to this day, but I have a pretty hefty Fixx catalog. I'm sure people are going to go, oh, he doesn't have that live album or that compilation.
I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the thing is, yeah, I put them, I don't even, you've used the term new wave to describe them. To me, they're not new wave. To me, they're just a great band.
To me.
But that's the thing. They may be classified as new wave. In the 80s, they were classified as new wave. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't consider them an 80s band. I just consider them, or an 80s band or a new wave band. I consider them just a great band because they've been around so long and have grown. And, I've gotten older. I don't know if they have.
Well, those first three I would classify as new wave.
Well, like I said, today, I'm not going to go, oh, I'm going to go see that new wave band, the Fixx. I'm just going to say,
no one would say
I'm going to see the Fixx. Oh, you would.
Well, maybe.
You go on new wave cruises.
No, they're just 80s cruises.
Yeah, well, it's all the same.
Well, you say tomato, I say tomato.
So what's your number one,
It's the same one as yours.
I know.
Most commercial It's reached the I really have nothing more to add than what you already did. Most commercially successful, when I think Fixx in my brain, I think this record because I think the guitars, the production, the songwriting, it's a perfect record. This is a 5-star, 10 out of 10 record.
I'm going to disagree with that.
No?
No, it's
Oh,
13 out of 10.
Okay. I think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're into new wave, gotta have it.
No, it is a new wave album. They were new wave. To me, they're just not a new wave band now.
That's fine.
They're mature. You know, I mean, are you a kid now?
Yeah. Mentally.
Okay.
I'm
You
a
got me
monkey
there.
with fiber optic cable.
You got me there.
So what's that? Come on.
Nah.
If you grow
All right.
up, you're doomed. So anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Is our rankings. So basically, this was just a fun exercise just to talk about the Fixx. Hopefully, we can turn you on to that. Check out the band. Let us know what you think in the comments. That's all it's about. It's all about talking music, getting you turned on.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love
He
it. Love
loves
it.
it.
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
Steve loves it.
Yeah.
So,
But I'm not Lyle Love It.
no, that's a totally different guy.
Yeah, different video. You and DC can do your Lyle Love It listening party.
I don't think I'll be doing that. I could.
Okay.
I don't know where Lyle Lovett came from, but I kind of like it. All right.
Love it, love it, love it, love it.
All right. Well, I want to thank Stephen Schnee for coming on tonight, talking the
Thank you.
Fixx. Hopefully, we can turn you on to stuff like I said. Check out the link below. Subscribe to his channel. Check out his channel. Let us know how you feel about it. Just subscribe. Do me a favor and subscribe.
And subscribe to this guy if you're not already. If you just stumbled across because you typed in, yeah, I'm saying subscribe to you.
They always naturally subscribe to me. Naturally.
Maybe I should replace my toupee with a cap.
Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that it's a toupee?
I'm going to remove it right now. You guys ready?
Remove it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just joking. It's not a toupee. Well, might be.
It's a 3-pay.
It's a 3-pay. All right, everybody. Let us know how you feel about this cure. The Cure. I called them the Cure again. Let us know what you feel about the Fixx in the comments. And what's next on the channel, I have no idea. Probably this, because I think I'm pretty much caught up. So this is probably the latest and the greatest. So Stephen Schnee, thanks for coming on. It's always fun to talk music with you.
Thank you, Grant.
Based on that, let's wrap this dog up. We'll see you.
Get him out of town.